We have some bad news for Liv Morgan. She has been arrested. According to PW Insider, WWE star Liv Morgan was arrested yesterday in Sumter County, Florida after a traffic stop. Morgan was arrested for the possession of marijuana, not more than 20 grams, and a possession of drugs, possibly synthetic cannabinoid. Morgan has already been bonded out, and I don't know why we're still arresting people for weed in 2023. That's kind of ridiculous at this point. It's literally legal in half the country. We haven't seen Liv Morgan in WWE in the last few months due to an injury that she suffered, and now she's got to deal with this nonsense. Hopefully, this doesn't lead to a suspension with WWE or even worse, a release. Nobody wants to see that happen. Like, really, nobody. All I gotta say is free Liv Morgan. We have some more bad news for the women's division in WWE. The company announced that Charlotte will be out for the next 9 months due to the knee injury she suffered last week, and that is just terrible. It seemed like WWE had huge WrestleMania plans for her, whether that was wrestling Bianca Belair or even Jade Cargill if she was going to make her debut. Unfortunately, those plans are going to have to be put on hold and pushed back to 2025. I'm guessing this is a torn ACL injury. Those usually take about that long. Bayley had the same injury a few years ago and she came back, so I have no doubt that Charlotte will also come back. However, she'll probably have to slow down a little bit in the ring, maybe cut back on those moonsaults because they do damage to the knees. Anyways, I'm wishing her a speedy recovery and I hope all you guys are too. Charlotte Flair isn't the only one who's going to be out for some time. Kenny Omega is another wrestler who's dealing with a serious injury. After he tweeted this, we found out. He said, "I can't really sugarcoat this. I'm out indefinitely. I tried to keep pushing past the pain for as long as I could until it became too much. Luckily, doctors called me when they did. I'll be here in the meantime, so please enjoy wrestling." Sean Ross Sapp from Fightful then went on to add this, saying, "We're told Kenny had been ill throughout the last week, even ahead of his match with Ethan Page. He still did the match and the promos and sought medical attention after, where he was hospitalized and diagnosed with diverticulitis. Get well soon to Kenny." This is terrible for AEW and Kenny Omega. Brock Lesnar had a similar injury in his first run with WWE, and Heyman spoke about how hard it was for the Beast. So hopefully Kenny Omega can get healthy as soon as possible and return to the ring. With that being said, let's now talk about last night's episode of SmackDown, because that was one of the best episodes I've seen in a really long time, and it showcased a lot of good wrestling. The show kicked off with the WWE Champion Roman Reigns and the Bloodline. Anytime the Tribal Chief is on SmackDown, you can pretty much expect to see him kick off the show. That's always how it goes. Even though it is annoying that he barely shows up, it was nice to see him back. He just has that star power when he's in the ring that is very, very hard to match. It is that aura. Anyways, the promo was basically about how Solo Sikoa is next in line to become the Tribal Chief. I will continue to stand on this opinion. I just don't see him as a superstar that WWE sees him as. When I see Solo, I kind of just see a mid-carder. It could be the hair or even the presentation of his attire. There's just something off about him. Right now, he just does not feel like a star. Anyways, I will say it was funny to see Jimmy Uso think that he was going to be the next Tribal Chief, only for Solo's name to come out of Roman's mouth. Randy Orton interrupted this promo and let Roman Reigns know that he's coming to destroy the Bloodline. He then challenged him to a WWE Championship match for the Royal Rumble, but Reigns, he declined. After nearly hitting an RKO, Randy told him he should start thinking about Orton more because he can hit that RKO out of nowhere and he's coming for the Bloodline. This was a strong segment. Randy Orton has been on a tear. He's been doing really well in this babyface role ever since coming back. He's a true star, and I'm glad to see him in the main event scene. Because if you remember correctly, before his injury, this man was in the tag team division for some reason, but this is where he belongs, at the top of the card. After this segment, we had a match between Grayson Waller and Carmelo Hayes in the US Championship Tournament. This was Carmelo's SmackDown debut, and I believe he made a great impression. Grayson Waller and Carmelo Hayes have really good chemistry in that ring, so this one was really good. I enjoyed it a lot. The fans were into it, and when Carmelo won the match, they were happy for him. I could see Carmelo becoming a big-time player for WWE, especially after this performance, and I wouldn't mind him winning the entire tournament and featuring him in that match with Logan Paul. It would get a ton of eyes onto the young rookie, and he can even lose the match without it hurting his momentum because honestly, just getting to that match would be impressive. I don't see WWE doing that though. I feel like they're going down the route of building up Kevin Owens and Logan Paul for the US Championship match, and I'm also fine with that because Kevin Owens and Logan Paul will probably have a great feud. Speaking of Kevin Owens, he was in the next match settling some beef with Austin Theory. This was the match of the night for me. These two pulled out every single move from their arsenal. They had about 15 or 20 minutes and they didn't waste a single second. The only thing I didn't like about this was the finish. Kevin Owens used his cast on his broken wrist or whatever to whack Austin Theory in the face, and that helped him get the victory. I just don't understand the concept of using your broken hand. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's broken. Don't use it. It's gonna hurt even more. Cody Rhodes did the same thing with Brock Lesnar, back in one of their matches, and it really annoyed me. At least Kevin Owens was trying to sell it, so I respect him for that. Meanwhile, Cody Rhodes was abusing his broken arm, and Kevin wasn't. So anyways, Kevin got the win and was even confronted by Carmelo Hayes backstage. I like how they're making sure Hayes doesn't feel like a rookie. He went up to Kevin Owens, and it didn't seem like he was afraid of him at all or any of these other main roster dudes, and I like that. We then had a tag team match between the Kabuki Warriors against Selena Vega and Mia Yim. I'm not gonna lie, I was focusing on the Lakers during this part. I really didn't care. The Kabuki Warriors did pick up the win, but that's all I saw. There's something about the SmackDown women's division. I think it's boring. I think there needs to be a real shakeup. I guess Bayley needs to turn babyface sooner than later, and have that feud with Io Sky. Until then, we're going to see the same thing every single week with these women working together, cheating, and getting the win. And I'm kind of bored of that. Anyways, finally, we had the main event of the night. It was Randy Orton versus Jimmy Uso. This was a strong main event, and Randy Orton, let me just say, is so good at selling. It's so fun to watch him perform. The match was good. It wasn't as great as the other two matches, but it was still really good nonetheless. Randy Orton sold his knee for the most part of the match, which added a nice element to it. As he was about to win, Solo was coming out to try to help his brother, but that's when LA Knight came out to make the save and beat up on Solo. Randy then hit the RKO, won the match, and then Roman came out of nowhere and he attacked Randy Orton. After a brawl from some time between, all these different guys, the Bloodline had the numbers game until AJ Styles finally made his return, and you just saw AJ, Orton, and Knight, and they sent the Bloodline running, and I like the ending. That was until AJ Styles then turned on LA Knight. I'm not sure why this happened or what WWE has in store for AJ's future, but one thing I do know is that AJ Styles was looking jacked. I love how AJ and Randy Orton came back looking insanely huge after their injuries. It's wild to see. I like this ending, and it really emphasized the star power that WWE does have. Roman Reigns, LA Knight, Randy Orton, and AJ Styles felt like such big superstars, and that is how you close a show, with your big superstars. And I am excited to see where this AJ story leads. I think he's better as a heel anyway, so you know what? Maybe this is a great decision by Triple H. I feel like he's going to be an anti-hero like, tweener. We'll see though. But yeah, that was SmackDown. It was really good. A great episode. We need more of these from Triple H. And that is it for the video, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.